Man, I don't even know why everybody's tripping about these dang gun machines, man. I got the freaking bow and arrow. Man, I got freaking Glocks. Freaking 9. I got goddamn machete. Man, I even got freaking bombs in this bitch. Let's freaking go. Don't nobody want none of the smoke.
Surprise, mother. Oh my God! My leg!
What's good, YouTube? It's Roshad here, and I am back with another review. I got a special video today, Horizon Zero Dawn. I'm legit like 4 years late to the party with this shit. Game came out ages ago for PS4. Now it's even on PC. I'm just getting into it. Finally played the game. Played it on PS5. It's PS4 version, whatever. Loved it. Can't wait to get this review started for y'all. It's gonna be in depth and detailed. Some spoilers, but as usual, it's gonna be a warning come spoiler time. So no worries. I'll be sure to give you plenty of heads up. Let's jump in.
Well, look who's come in from the wild. The motherless outcast.
Let's jump into the overall premise and story of the game. So the main character, Aloy, who's been banished from her tribe, the Nora, sets out on this adventure so she can discover her past and her history, as well as uncover the secrets of the world. The world is ravaged by all these deadly, diabolical machines that are just going around ruthlessly slaughtering all the humans. Over time, the machines are getting worse and worse, and they keep encountering these newer, more deadly machines with new weaponry and new crazy tactics. All the machines are based off of some form of wild animal, and they keep getting worse and worse. So as a big part of the story, you're traveling around trying to uncover the secrets of the machines and the world around you. It's completely post-apocalyptic, so there's a lot of obvious trauma surrounding a world that appeared to be similar to ours in terms of overall civilization and technology, that apparently at some point was completely obliterated and had to be, I suppose, rebuilt. Of course, I'll get into that when we get into the spoiler section, but you can clearly see that civilization as they knew it crumbled, and the only folks you have left are the Nora. And as you progress through the game, there's other tribes as well that you meet that are throughout the game world.
Aloy of the Nora, she who sees the unseen. Welcome. It would seem you have done me a great service.
The whole thing gives me these Attack on Titan vibes. For anyone who's familiar with that show, or anime rather, they start out in these walls and they don't know anything about what's outside the walls. Hell, they don't know anything about what's inside the walls. And it's a similar premise here. Aloy starts out only knowing about her tribe and barely knowing about that. It's completely marred by politics and religion and just overall secrecy. There's a lack of desire by the overall tribe to learn more about the other tribes or anyone outside of their little world. And so a big part of the journey is just really just uncovering the overall game world and learning what the hell is going on, why there's these towering machines appearing to come out of freaking mountains, just these giant tentacles everywhere, and all these deadly machines, and why are they similar to animals? Like, there's all these questions, there's all these mysterious ruins and all these things, and the objective is really just to find out more about the world. And there's a lot of individuals going far out of their way to stop you, Aloy, the main protagonist in particular, which intrigues you even more. Like, well, what the hell is so special about this character? Throughout the game, you come to uncover the truth about that.
Hold for identiscan.
The goddess speaks, just like the woman I saw.
This is a big open world action adventure game, similar to the likes of Zelda Breath of the Wild, Immortal Phoenix Rising, and from what I hear, games like Red Dead Redemption, which I haven't played yet, and The Witcher 3, same story for that. I do own The Witcher 3 though. I'll get to it eventually. Per usual AAA titles, the graphics are incredible. Some of the most amazing shit I've ever seen. And this is just PS4 stuff, not even PS5. They basically stop at nothing to impress you constantly. There's water effects that are ridiculous, deserts, all these lush forests, these mysterious machine facilities where you go in and it appears as though the outside world, it's like everything is just ruined and crumbling. But when you're going to these machine facilities, you notice that there's all these fancy robotics and technology, and it looked almost as if it's 100% being upkept. And that begs the question, is it other humans that are keeping this up? Is it the machines are doing it themselves? And as you continue to progress through these, you uncover some of the mysteries of that. And the cool thing about that, they call these the cauldrons. And these are like the equivalent almost of like Zelda dungeons. There's only a couple of them throughout the game, and they're all a little bit different. Some of them are like really super long, and some of them are like super short. And they don't exactly have a bunch of puzzles like Zelda, but they definitely give definitely a feel similar to that of Zelda, because there's a couple puzzle-like elements. There's some traps and combat and all these mysterious different things to uncover and treasures and things like that within the cauldrons. So that's just one of the many elements of the game world that are really freaking awesome. There's all these torn up and fallen apart buildings, highways, stadiums, facilities that appear to be from ancient times, that they call the characters who created all these, or the ancient civilizations, they call them the old ones or the ancient ones, because they don't know anything of the history. The only thing that they know is that they're not around anymore, and that they believe the machines caused the demise of them, because the machines are clearly still around, whereas the humans from back in those ancient times clearly aren't. You start off in a location that's relatively small. Like when you check out this map, you'll see that it's pretty tiny. Like the spot that you're at, you're like a little speck on the map. And in this area, the area looks kind of small, but it looks big compared to your relative size. But as you continue to progress, I think it took me about 4 or 5 hours to get past the original area where the Nora reside. I went through what they call the proving. After the proving, you essentially open up the rest of the game world, and man, it is so freaking humongous. You quickly realize that this is an adventure that's gonna be netting you about 50 to 100 hours easily. Eventually even get the ability to control some of the machines, including the ones that are similar to a horse, and you can ride the horse-like machine, I believe they call it a strider, across the various terrains. And they designed the physics and stuff really well, like including when you're even on slopes, like it kind of struggles to really gallop across different slopes and just kind of awkwardly jumps. But they did a better job with it, I can say for sure, than Zelda Breath of the Wild, for anyone who played that and tried to ride the horse on anything steep. And it just almost felt like it was kind of glitchy. Whereas in Horizon Zero Dawn, it feels very much like they actually did some damn programming around the horse mechanics and all the various different types of terrain. There was no corner cutting or anything like that. And of course, they got the quality of life features, the fast travel and all that good stuff to make your life easier. And trust me, it's a humongous game. You're gonna need it. Yo, this game is crazy. What the hell is that up there? Oh boy. There's an absolutely overwhelming amount of shit to do in this game. It is just ridiculous. you can follow the main story and try to skip everything, which would actually still net you quite a bit of an enjoyable experience and at least a solid 20-30 hours worth of gameplay, I would think. But you'd be screwing yourself out of a solid 70% of the game's content, maybe more. So you definitely don't want to do that. There's a bunch of different tribes throughout the game, some of whom are rival tribes as you have to battle quite a few times, and very unique battle structures as well. There's hunter lounges, various different customs and religions for each tribe. There's an endless amount of quests with actual unique stories, fully voice acted. So everything in the game is fully voice acted. Unique cutscenes for the side quests. Voice acting is actually pretty good most of the time.
Don't bother me, Outlander. I don't need a mercenary, I need a miracle. Someone who can tell me who slaughtered my men.
And of course, sometimes, per usual, there's some stuff is a little suspect, a little sus.
You didn't have to help us, but you did. She would have admired that. Thank you, Aloy.
There's a series of fetch quests that they call errands. I like the fact that they don't call them your side quests. They call them errands outright. Or they don't call them fetch quests, because I guess there's like a negative association with that. But instead they call them errands. And they can actually be pretty involved and involve some combat challenges. So it's not just go here, grab this, and come back. It actually is more involved in that. So they put some good time into that. There's these bandit camps where you take on humans instead of machines, which has a much different dynamic. And as smart as some of the machines are, the humans are definitely smarter, and they're more difficult to outsmart for sure. But they're not that much tougher. But I will admit they have some absurdly powerful weaponry that they harness, where they essentially poach from the machines, and some stuff that they found from the ancient ones, and they started using for themselves to take on you and your tribe. So that kind of sucks for you, but sometimes you can take them out and take their weapon and use it against them as well. So that can be pretty fun.
Hey, kill this bitch. Come on. Yes.
Hold up, you can pick up his weapon, bro? Oh shit! I don't know if it's just my fascination with Zelda and my history with the series overall. You can see I got the freaking Triforce hat, and you might be able to see Link up here in the top part of it. But I really love the cauldrons because for whatever reason they reminded me of Zelda. There's even one in particular, and this is minor spoilers, not a major thing, definitely nothing story related, but just something that you encounter on the world map. Is one of the cauldrons has actually been invaded by one of your rival tribes. It's also been invaded by nature, so you have to go through this entire thing, and it's very different from the other cauldrons, and I just really like that dynamic. So all of them are pretty different than the rest, but this one in particular really stood out because it has that dynamic of having a lot of kind of factory type machine, cleanly looking, brand new looking machine stuff, combined with having to go up against humans and your rival tribes, and there's machines inside of there that you have to face off against as well. There's just a lot going on in this particular cauldron. This one really took me by surprise, and when I was playing it, I felt like some of these things you'd almost expect to see in a sequel rather than them express such creativity in their first game of this kind. I don't know if this studio is familiar with doing other games similar to this, but the fact that this is the first Horizon game, they got a sequel coming out, and they did such a damn good job, it just makes me just feel incredibly anxious to play the sequel because they did a freaking phenomenal job, and I'm just speaking on the cauldron alone. Ooh, bitch, it's a lot going on right here. What? Why won't the shit show up? I can't strike it. Fucking damn, man. Have to kill me and what the fuck? How many niggas they got?
Oh my god! Get out of there, man. Bob and weave.
You're finished.
Man, fuck you. Shut your bitch ass up.
The combat is easily the best part of the game. Really fun. You have, I think, around 5, 6 main weapons, and throughout the game you get like better versions of those weapons. You can modify the weapons and make them like more powerful. There's different elemental abilities for each weapon that you can utilize, and you know, you can have certain things freeze easy or burn. You can tear off enemy parts using some of your weapons, and you can increase your ability to do that, or even pierce. They're facing off against machines. A lot of them have like all these ridiculous armors and stupid stuff like that. So you can make it where they can pierce like incredibly easy. The only caveat to that is, depending on how you set things up, one weapon might be able to pierce extremely easily, but then the next weapon will have to have like different modifications to it. But of course, as you progress throughout the game, eventually you'll have so many, you can pretty much do whatever the hell you want. Sometimes you're facing off against machines and humans at the same time, or they're like fighting each other before you ever even get there, and you're just like, yo, what the hell's going on here? Let me just hide in the bushes or some shit.
Yep, I'ma just chill back here. Oh shit, season. Damn it, man.
You start off with really basic stuff like a spear and like a basic bow and arrow that doesn't appear to hardly do any damage to the machines. Even the weakest of machines, like the horse type machine that I mentioned, I think they call it again the Strider. And there's another machine, I think the very first machine you encounter is called a Watcher, which is pretty much like one of the easiest types of machines to defeat. Eventually, you get to the point where you're like shooting bombs and setting traps and tying machines down with ropes, and eventually blasting parts off the machines and stealing the machine weapons and using them against them, and going up against machines that literally look like freaking giant dinosaur, like T-Rex style machines with laser beams and all kinds of crazy shit.
We almost got the bitch. Oh, fuck. Bro. What the? This bitch just killed me with a damn tailspin or some shit? What the fuck was that?
There's a wide variety of different machines. Some of them are like really slow and don't seem like they can really do much, but if they hit you like once, you're dead. There's some other machines that are really fast and they don't do very much damage. There's some machines that are extremely fast and can still kill you in one hit.
Man, what the hell? How did I not see that? Fuck.
And there's machines that shoot fire and ice and other non-elemental damage. They just shoot whatever they shoot and it just kills you. They can fly, and there's even freaking alligator type machine. There's just all kinds of different monstrosities that you have to face off against. And it will take everything you've got to be successful, especially on the hard, very hard, and ultra hard. I played on very hard because that's pretty much the only way that I ever get any type of challenge out of the game, is at a minimum to play it on hard. Maybe not the hardest difficulty, otherwise I'll never get a chance to get this review up. You can target specific parts of the machines, take them down quickly, or at least weaken them. You may have to hit them under like the stomach, or hit something off of their back, or of course target their elemental weaknesses. When all else fails, just stick to using the two best weapons in the game, the Trip Caster and the Rope Caster. The Trip Caster is one of the best weapons in the game. You essentially shoot these two posts into the ground that create like a rope, and when an enemy crosses the path of it, they essentially trip it, as in like a trap, so the Trip Caster. And it'll either blow them to smithereens, it'll shock them with a massive amount of electricity. I believe the strongest amount you can possibly do in the game, strongest amount of that particular element you can do. And the same for, there's a fire-based Trip Caster where you can burn the hell out of the machines, and some of them happen to be weak to fire as well. So this is like easily one of the most powerful weapons. you can see the paths of the machines with your focus device. That's one of the key devices that Aloy uses throughout the entire game. And you can see the paths of the machine, so you can literally see exactly where they're gonna walk. So it's almost kind of a broken strategy to use a tripcaster, already knowing where the enemies are gonna be. So you, a lot of the time, don't even have to trick them or anything. They'll just always follow the same path that you want them to follow, and they'll trip the trap every time. Here this bitch come down. Yeah, yeah, get wrecked, bitch. Hold up, this bitch just run away? Like, what the hell? That is not normal. Well, I'm setting some more traps, like, I mean, he coming back, right? This motherfucker literally is there hauled ass and he just not coming back.
Let me ask you, does a machine like yourself ever experience fear?
Then there's the rope caster. For whatever reason, I completely ignored the rope caster weapon for so long. I felt like it just wasn't gonna be useful, but damn was I wrong. Eventually I wised up and I started using it. You can take down damn near anything. Even some of the most powerful and largest machines in the game will succumb to the rope caster. I freaking love it. Now you do have to shoot a crap ton of ropes to get some of the bigger machines, but eventually they'll still go down. The way that they fight and struggle to get away from the ropes, and they break a bunch of the ropes when you're in the middle of shooting them, just trying to escape, it just feels incredible, and you feel really satisfied when you take one of them down. Just watch this big Leviathan fall at the might of all these ropes that you're shooting at it. It's just really awesome. And then you go in for the critical hit to finish them off. Though I haven't really mentioned it at this point, there actually is a lot of stealth in the game. It's a critical and major part of the game. It's just not my favorite as compared to the combat for the game, because those combat can get just freaking wild and crazy, and I really love it. But there is a lot of stealth in the game, which is also fun. It's not gonna be the most fun that you've had doing stealth. It doesn't really compare to the likes of like Deus Ex and Metal Gear Solid and things like that. It's a lot more bare bones than that. You know, you hide behind grass and fog and you sneak around quietly. It is fun, just nothing that's too incredible. It can be very intense, like any stealth game. Once you're kind of to the point where you do something suspicious, or you make a noise, or you do anything stupid, all of a sudden now you're in the position where the machines just start closing in on you slowly, and you start feeling like, oh shit, I hope I don't get busted.
Shit right here. What the hell is that? Oh shit, what the what? This bitch got radar? What the hell is this shit? You gotta be kidding, man. I can't even hide from this bitch?
There's weapon customization that you can do, item crafting, you can acquire new outfits for Aloy, there's special collectibles like metal flowers and these special mugs from the ancient ones. There are skills to unlock to make your adventure easier and more fun, if I might add. Just a lot of shit crammed into this game, which is extremely well thought out. There's one annoyance though, and that's the resource management for the inventory. It's really easy to fill up your inventory, and you have to constantly sell and dismantle items. It just would have made a lot more sense to make it where you just could carry more and just call it a day. There's item shops where you acquire more merchandise and trade special items you find throughout the field for even more special items from the items traders. There's these vantage points where you get to get a glimpse of the old world and what things used to look like before the apocalypse. And it's just so freaking much. There's even more stuff. Eventually, when I was planning this review out, I was just like, okay, gosh, it's just too much stuff to talk about. So I'm not gonna cover everything. And again, this is without even talking about the DLC. So needless to say, there is a lot of shit. Just trust me, you'll see it up on the screen. There's a lot to do, a lot to account for, whether it be the good quests, whether it be some some of the more mundane things, scanning things with your focus, whatever. You're never gonna run out of stuff to do. It's a long game. If you need something to play, this is it.
The corner of this rug is frayed. Therefore, near it is worn.
Alright folks, I'm gonna be getting into spoiler territory now, so gonna put a timestamp somewhere on the screen to let you know where you can click to avoid spoilers. If you hadn't noticed up to this point, the only character I really talked about was Aloy. And out of all the main characters, that's pretty much the only person I feel like you can talk about without spoiling the story, including pretty much one of the starter characters, Ross, because a lot happened with Ross early on in the game, and there's a lot of really important critical characters that you get to learn about throughout the game. So we're going into spoilers. Get ready.
Nothing will save us. And here's why. By the time the glitch was noticed, it was already too late. Nothing could stop the Pharaoh plague. Nothing can. Its robots will continue to replicate and devour the biosphere. Life on Earth will be destroyed.
After you get deeper into the story, you start encountering this mysterious voice.
If you reveal yourself to their agents in Sunfall, your escape will have been for nothing.
What do you know about my escape? Who was that?
Eventually you learn the character's name, which is Silence, who's speaking to you through your focus device, and he turns out to be very critical to the story and overall narrative, as well as Elizabeth Sobek, who has a striking resemblance to Aloy, as well as Ted Pharaoh, whose machines led to the apocalypse and were inevitably named the Pharaoh Plague.
There's a glitch in the chariot line.
Your killer robots?
Peacekeepers, yes, those.
So shut them down.
Obviously, Liz, we would, if we could. They're not responding.
Are you telling me a swarm has gone rogue, Ted?
It's worse than that.
So the story goes that Ted creates a series of killer robots that feed off of living biomatter, which is essentially the essence of life of humans and every other single living being on the entire planet, including even freaking bacteria. So the machines feed off of that, and they manage to ravage and destroy everything, including by killing people because they're weapons, military weapons. So they kill people outright, and they suck the biomatter out of the people who they don't kill outright and anything else in civilization, and manage to destroy the entire world within as little as 16 months. They literally caused the extinction of the entire human population in Project Zero Dawn. The whole purpose of that is to rebuild humanity from scratch, shut down all the machines, because apparently the process of unencrypting the codes required to take down the machines takes a few years, and they only have 16 months before the machines would pretty much destroy all of the Earth. So the machines literally kill everyone and everything, and they're just hanging out, I guess, with nothing to do until inevitably an artificial intelligence awakens, known as Gaia. The artificial intelligence comes, starts rebuilding life. They literally grow people in like test tubes, similar to like the Matrix or something, and they rebirth some of the people into the world. Just this mind-boggling, incredibly depressing story because this entire time Aloy is thinking the same thing I'm thinking, that the humans must have survived and found a way to defeat the Pharaoh Plague and not suffer oblivion and extinction. But that's not what happened. Inevitably, at least for a short time, humans and every life on Earth was completely extinct. That is freaking dark and totally unexpected.
I find the loss of megafaunal species unaccountably sad.
that they passed forever into oblivion causes me to experience a grief that is difficult to describe. Am I malfunctioning?
There are all these audio and video messages that you can listen to on your Focus that directly demonstrate to you the trauma that many of the individuals felt at the time. It really feels just horrifying, really, and hopeless as they learn about their inevitable extinction. Just imagine if you were told tomorrow that, hey, we screwed up and everyone's gonna die in like the next less than 2 years, because all of human in the world population is supposed to be totally destroyed within 16 months. So really, even less than that is the likelihood of your survival. Probably within just a few months, you pretty much be destroyed because the machines are able to self-replicate at this absurd pace, and they're sucking out biomatter, and man, that's some technology. I'll give them that. Eventually, the AI Gaia does terraform the Earth, shuts down all the machines, grows new people. Aloy's born with the same DNA as Elizabeth Sobek, so to continue her work and continue the work on Gaia and ensure that everything is going okay. Whew. Man, that's a lot, and that is deep and dark. I was just in disbelief kind of when I heard everything. And then on top of everything else, the asshole Ted Farrow, who caused all of the turmoil and caused the extinction of the entire planet, he turns around and he kills a lot of the individuals who were going to spread the history. They were going to document and spread the history to the new world and the new civilizations of humans that would inevitably come to rise back up again after their destruction by the Pharaoh plague. But Ted Farrow says he feels like the humans are going to repeat their same mistakes.
Crazy bastard! Millennia of culture!
I'm sorry. Really, I am. But sometimes, to protect innocence, innocents have to die.
Emergency alert. Planting atmosphere.
To make matters worse, eventually you find out why there are still the current machines that exist today. Because if you recall, I mentioned a moment ago that the machines at one point were all shut down by the Gaia artificial intelligence system, but now there's these new machines. So apparently there's some sort of signal that came, and the signal awakened the Hades protocol within Gaia, which is supposed to destroy all life again and kind of start everything over. But that signal had to source from somewhere, and you don't really learn where that signal came from. They even tease it at the end credits with silence, and you don't really figure out what happened. So they obviously did some sequel bait there. Some people might be kind of annoyed by that. I was fine with it because the story that we got was good, but I'm damn curious where the hell this signal came from, and why would anyone want to destroy all of humanity and destroy them for good? What would be the purpose of that? And it wouldn't even just be humanity, it would be all life. I don't know if they're going to go into some sort of territory of wanting aliens or something. I don't know what the heck they're going to do, but I'm really curious, who and why would they have such a dark purpose of literally obliterating every single type of living organism on the entire planet? You got to be on some seriously demented planet-selling stuff or something in order to do this. I don't know.
I say we torch the whole barrel of monkeys. How about it, Zarbon?
The story for the game really kept me engaged and feeling anxious to complete it so I can just learn answers. There was a couple days in a row I was playing this game, and I really should have went to sleep, but I just felt this strong urge, I just had to know the truth. I just had to learn more and play a little bit more. Okay, maybe if I play for a couple more hours, then I'll get the answers I need. I'll play for a couple more hours, and they would just give me this little bit, and it'd be just enough to make me want to play for a few more hours. It's like this vicious cycle. Eventually I got the answers that I was looking for. I still got more answers now, but it was a great story-driven experience overall. For anyone who says you can't have great story in a big open world game, go sit down somewhere, because they really showed you how it was done with Horizon Zero Dawn.
Let's see what you have to say. What is this?
The entity lives. Unacceptable. Unacceptable. Unacceptable.
I'll briefly touch on the soundtrack. It was freaking awesome. I mean, what do you expect? Everything in this game, they made sure that the quality standard was kept at a very minimum. It seemed as though they tried to keep it like way up here, like just off the rails. The soundtrack for the game was phenomenal. I enjoyed it. I'll play a couple little clips so you can hear, for anyone, I guess, who's curious to see for themselves and judge on their own. Ironically, one of the best portions of the score was the menu music. Just when you click the button to view the menu, that music was freaking awesome. And sometimes if I was concentrating or doing something else, or maybe even like doing some other work, I would just click within the menu and just listen to that. All right, my overall thoughts on the game, I freaking loved it. This is one of my favorite games ever. I actually want to go back and play this game some more because I still got the DLC. There's a bunch of quests I didn't complete. I think I was around like 70% with everything, but it felt like there was more than that. I'll see for myself. Love the story, love the soundtrack, graphics were incredible, characters were amazing. Some minor issues. There's not really like a particularly strong villain presence within the game. I think they could stand to improve that within the next game. There's a couple issues with some glitches here and there. Only a few for like a solid, I think I had around 70 or so hours of gameplay. So considering the fact I only encountered like a handful of glitches, that's pretty damn good. And the story was a little hard to follow. I will say that is, I had to really, put my thought into it, and even do a little bit of research afterward for when I was doing this review. I made sure I didn't make any major mistakes. Probably still screwed something up, but the story is a little complex, and I could definitely see some folks having a challenge or having difficulty following the story, or even difficulty following it with the way that I explained it in this review. And you definitely got the Cliff Notes version, trust me. But overall, 9 out of 10, incredible game. I loved it. I cannot wait for Horizon Forbidden West. I'm counting down the days. I actually did this review because Forbidden West is coming out, and I want to review that game. And I figured I'd take this opportunity to go ahead and catch up, review the game, maybe get some other people into the series as well, because I really enjoyed it. Very much reminded me of like Zelda, Immortals Phoenix Rising, games like that. It also has me excited for games like The Witcher 3 in particular. I have that game as well. I have not played it yet because I want to savor it and enjoy it, just like I did with Horizon Zero Dawn. But there's no Witcher 4 coming out yet, so I didn't feel that sense of like pressure to like hurry up and just hop to it. So again, guys, I really appreciate y'all staying to the end, watching the video, and I hope y'all enjoyed. Give the video a like, ring the bell. So when you ring the bell, you get notifications every time I create a video. So you don't have to like go and hunt it down and, you know, wondering if I quit YouTube or something. That's never happening, just so you know, or at least no time soon. So I'm here to stay. Definitely subscribe to the channel if you haven't, because you're definitely not going to get any notifications of any videos if you don't at least do that. I appreciate all the support. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think, if you played the game, if you have any thoughts, if you're excited for the sequel, or if you have some different things you want to see from the sequel. I feel like I have some thoughts of my own, and I may even make a video talking about some things I want to see from the sequel, and hopefully we get them. You know, so, or maybe even at E3, even though Sony's not going to be at E3, maybe they'll still pop up or surprise us with something. We'll see. Anyway, guys, thanks again for watching. Catch y'all next time. Play that shit. Peace.